TAF Africa Global concludes 5th annual conference of business tycoons in Banjul.
Social responsibility since inception.
The Ministry of Tourism and Culture.
Gambia revives festival to welcome its African residents across the world, announced the Tourism Ministry. Tanzania achieves users of or urges users of the e-passport amidst tight deadline for a total coverage. This and more coming on The World Today. Hello, it is 1400 GMT here in our studios in Banjul. You are watching The World Today on iAfrica TV. My name is Amadou Kante, and now the news in detail. Another conference of the country's biggest private sector, dubbed TAFCON, ended on Wednesday after 2 days of inspirations to the rest of the business community in the Gambia. The 2020 edition, hosted by TAF Africa Global, brought together people of diverse backgrounds to deliberate and share experience on critical issues of development. The Gambia's Vice President Aishatu Toure and Chief Prosecutor at the International Criminal Court, Fatou Bensouda, were among the guests to the conference. Details of that in this report.
The two-day event of the 5th edition of TAF Africa Conference and Networking TAFCON, which form part of TAF Africa Global's corporate social responsibility since inception in December 2015, have laid emphasis on business opportunities, policy shaping, and decision-making. The Pan-African Real Estate Development Company Synergy opened on Tuesday at the Carol Beach Resort and Spa in Bruford, where stakeholders from different career backgrounds, including government officials, youth groups, the private sector, participated in discussions and sharing of ideas and experience on issues of development. Deliberations range from startups to industrial nitty-gritties, chiefly on tourism and technology and women empowerment for sustainable development. Chief Executive Officer of TAF Africa Global, Mustafa Njai, inspired young entrepreneurs with his track record of success relating to the evolution of one of the Gambia's biggest private sector. To him, career experience of an entrepreneur is based on visibility of opportunities rather than challenges, a scenario for which TAFCON was initiated to support and motivate innovative and hard-working youth to build and develop their enterprises.
From a startup business in 1990 in the Gambia, passion and determination to succeed has driven TAF Africa Global into becoming a reputable real estate brand in Africa, as we expanded into Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, and Mozambique, although with special focus on the Gambia and Nigeria. As expected, a 30-year journey could not have been without its challenges. We have consequently converted our challenges to opportunities and learned from each challenge. Firstly, access to finance. As a startup 30 years ago, I started small by using my savings. We built credibility over the years, which made us able to access finance from the local and foreign partners. Secondly, human resources. We did not allow the limited supply of vocational skills in the Gambia to limit our success. We initially imported skills from Senegal and later moved these trained artisans to Nigeria and back to the Gambia.
The Hague-based International Criminal Court ICC prosecutor Fatou Bensouda, who was the guest speaker of the event, commended Mustafa Njai for his strides and achievements in inspiring Gambian young people. She observed that there are more opportunities that can be convertible into success stories One's commitment and dedication is taken as a tool at work.
Allow me to observe at the outset that these are exciting times in the Gambia, where a new beginning has given hope to the promise of nation rebuilding on the crucial pillars of good governance, equal opportunity, development, and respect for the rule of law. An era where innovative and entrepreneurial spirit can thrive, where ideas and innovation can take root and be cultivated, where the potential of all Gambians can be fostered without distinction, and where different sectors of society constructively interact and are galvanized in the service of a common cause. That is, to build, hand in hand, a stronger, secure, and prosperous Gambia.
Gambia's Vice President Dr. Aissatou Touré hailed the Tough Africa Global Management for hosting the 5th TAFCON, which she equated to complementing her government's effort in the service of the people.
The principles of private sector-led growth and our belief in the private sector as engine of economic growth will continue to be a fundamental national development pillar. My government will continue to carve out and adjust to responsive policies and strategies to support greater private sector participation in the domestic economy. To this end, a second National Business Council, a National Business Council has been set up to provide a platform for the private sector and government to engage on business issues and recommend policy options. With the private sector, it is expected to play a significant role in financing of National Development Plan 2018 to 2021. We have drafted a revision to the Public-Private Partnership, that's the PPP law, with the support of expertise from France and other international financial institutions.
The leadership of Tough Africa Global renewed commitment to its quest to provide affordable and accessible home for more people on the continent. It began its 2020 journey by signing a memorandum of understanding with South Africa, a house agency based in Kenya, to provide 1 million home units in Africa within the next 20 years. Reporting for Africa News, I am Amadou Kante.
From that report of TAFCON 2020 edition, we head to Tanzania, where Tanzanians are racing against a deadline to apply for the electronic passports as the expiration date for the passport acquisition draws near. Tanzania's immigration department called on citizens to acquire the e-passport to avoid any inconveniences. Since then, the number of applicants has increased drastically. The deadline for the electronic passport is expected to phase out by the end of January this year. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The Tanzanian government first announced citizens would need to process new electronic passports 2 years ago, and it gave citizens up to 31st January 2020 to get the new passports, and until that date is when the old passports won't be used. As it stands, so many citizens have been coming up. The number of people coming to get the new passports has doubled, if not tripled.
We had 2 stations, that means here at Kurasin, Dar es Salaam, and the immigration area office in Zanzibar. Right now we have almost 31 stations all over the countries for the Tanzanian citizens to exchange their passports. Also, we just go abroad and we opened almost 44 stations to our Tanzanian embassy abroad. The exercise just goes well and it's smooth here, so we just continue with the exercise.
Richard, tell me, you have these new passports. How do you feel? How has been the process to get them, considering there seems to be a lot of people here?
Yeah, I'm very happy that I have my electronic passport today. And despite of seeing so many people around here, but the speed of processing the documents here is very high. And I'm very encouraged to see that the time taken to process is too short.
Why do you think some Tanzanians, most of them waited to these last days? Now there's a rush. What is it? Life? Is it work? What is it?
No, according to my opinion, I think they are afraid maybe there is a lot of things to be done here. But I wanted to encourage them that once you have all the information required, then you can just get your passport within a short period.
Thank you so much, sir. Once you have all the information required, you just have to come to the immigration office here and you'll be able to process and get your new electronic passport, which is said to have more advanced safety features.
From that report there in Tanzania, we come back home because the country's beverage service provider, Banjo Breweries, chose the rewarded its 2019 highest World Collar, Chill and Double distributors at a ceremony held in its headquarters in Kanifing. The bottler had earlier recognized the performance of its customers in their commitment to promote its products. Last year, leading product sellers received prizes from the bottler for their constant performance for a period of time. Aissatou Tamba has more details of that in this report.
Banjul Breweries Limited on Tuesday awarded prizes to its service and product distributors at a ceremony held at the bottler's head office in Kanifing. The competition, which was conducted on the scale of distribution of the company's popular products, including World Collar, Chill, and Dupel, and middleman ownership of Tricycle to boost their competitive strength. Other prizes were refrigerators, television set, and laptops. Charles Otombanu, a Nigerian national who emerged winner in all categories contested, was awarded tricycles and a refrigerator to reinforce in his business. As a long-time businessman in the Gambia, he has a number of youths in his pay scale. Fatou Sinyan Bengan, who spoke on behalf of the management of the company, congratulated the winners for taking part in the business of Banjul Breweries brand.
And these are people who invest their own money, you know, to improve on the turnover of Banjul Breweries Limited. So our responsibility as a company is to give back to these wholesalers and to show them that we appreciate their involvement in Banjul Breweries and that we appreciate them investing their money into Banjul Breweries, and also for them to understand that we appreciate them going out in the market and making sure that our products reach the doorstep of every Gambian and non-Gambian residing in the Gambia. So we say a big thank you, and we also say a congratulations for winning this small token.
She boasted of being the best bottling companies in the country, while challenging the winners to maintain their hard work and dedication. Sinyan encourages the winners to continue to work with the company as they have a lot more offers for customers across the country. Sales and Marketing Manager Bori Dabo congratulated winners and assured of additional opportunities on the business.
And for 2020, by end of December 2020, will be versus 2019, because they're giving us a duration of 18 months. So within that 18 months, we have a lot of activities to do, including the customer reward. And reward will be based on your volume, the percentage. So brace yourself for that.
One of the female winners who spoke on behalf of the awardees thanked the company for standing by them and then pledged their readiness to continue service delivery to customers. She thanked the management and staff of Banjul Brewery for encouraging startup businesses with intensive and awards. Incorporation in 1973, the company, which started operation 4 years later, is identified as the leading producer of beer and non-alcoholic drinks in the Gambia. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Aissatou Tamba.
Thank you very much, Aissatou, for the report. And from her report, we will now take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of the stories. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Ami Sahna, founder and owner of Her Apparel, a mother's clothing brand. Tough Startup has been one of the best things that ever happened to my life, if not the best.
My name is Modula Ahmed Fati, founder, farm manager, ML Poultry. Before Tough Startup 2018, this used to be my poultry house with about 200 chickens. And today, ML Poultry has just built a new farm with a production capacity of up to 4,000 chickens.
I'm Ivo Lawrence Mendy. I'm the CEO and the founder of Cameco. The Tough Startup, we're able to register the company in Ghana as a as a limited, like Ride Africa Ghana Limited.
I urge every single young entrepreneur out there to give it a try. It's a life-changing experience.
Welcome back. You're watching The World Today on iAfrica TV. Now we look at the rest of the stories. Now, in a bid to showcase Gambia's originality and kinship, the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, in collaboration with National Center for Art and Culture, launched a national organizing committee in preparations for the forthcoming National Youth Homecoming Festival. The event is scheduled for December 2020, with invitation extended to all Africans in the diaspora, for whom the Gambia has opened the door for homecoming. Since 1994, the Homecoming Festival has been used to establish the truth about the history of Africa and experience of its people using African arts, culture, and music and dance. Juldin Jai has more in this report.
The Ministry of Tourism and Culture, together with National Center for Arts and Culture, set up a national organizing committee to revive the biannual National Roots Homecoming Festival, saluted in December 2020. The biannual Roots Festival, which was initiated in 1994 by the government of former President Yahya Jammeh, was initiated by the publication of Roots, in which the African-American author traced his ancestral link to the Gambia. The festival welcomed descendants of those who were forcefully enslaved through the shipment of millions of Africans to the Americans and the Caribbean back to their ancestral home in West Africa. The new government announced in 2017 that the Roots Homecoming Festival will be given a new shape and direction, although the 13th edition was not observed in 2018. The Minister of Tourism and Culture, Ahmad Ba, pledged government's commitment to reform the tourism industry by looking into all enabling factors, including infrastructure. He said when they come to office in 2016, they realized that the Roots Festival were more of a Kanilai show and not given a national character.
This edition of festival will have a new look and reorientation and spread to all the quarters of the country, including Jufre. However, basically, the aims and objectives of the festival remain the same, namely, to reunite people of African descent with African while promoting the Gambia and her culture, her cultural, historical, and traditional values. To further encourage cultural tourism and investment in Gambia in particular, and Africa in general. To forge closer ties between the Gambia and Pan-African people.
By way of the festival, he said truth about the history of Africa and the experiences of its people will continue to show up using African arts, culture, music, and dance. Director General of National Center for Arts and Culture, Hasum Sisa, said the event solicits commitment on the part of organizing committee that should extend the room for participation both nationally and international.
Like engage in like an experimentation, with some of the products, that the festival, will have. For example, just last week, we had the Quinola Festival, which should be a component, of, the rebranded Roots. And all the reports I received say, it went well.
The historian graded highly the move to situate the event during the holiday season, which he said will attract participants from different countries and institutions. Chairman of the National Organizing Committee, Nyang Jai, noted that culture being embodiment of people, Gambia has a noble cause to portray her identity and brands.
Gambia has a very good product, and the product has very good subsets. And we have seen some of these subsets earlier on display through the multimedia videography shown by the gentleman from NCAC. What we have lacked is the ability to synchronize, harmonize, and bring everything together in a package and make sure that it is in conformity with branding standards, so that brand Gambia will come out and be very prominent and visible in what we're trying to achieve.
The International Roots Festival, which was usually held by middle of the year, has now been shifted to end of year to accommodate more participants from the diaspora. For iAfrica News, I am Julden Yai.
Thank you very much, Julden Jai. And, I know we all look forward to the event in December 2020. Now, a fire broke out on Tuesday at the Serekunda market with at least $1 million worth of items burned into small snares in the Banjul car park. The cause of the fire wasn't established, but eyewitnesses believed it was the result of an electric spark. Let's have details of that again by Julden Jai in this report.
At least $1 million worth of items got burned when fire engulfed 11 stalls in the main Serekunda market on Tuesday morning. Eyewitnesses believe the fire, which emanated from the shop of one Almami, a dealer in general household utensils, around 1 a.m. was likely due to electric spark, but the police have begun investigation to the cause of the fire. A shop owner right opposite the scene, Alpha Omar Ba, told iAfrica TV that the shouting began by midnight to the attention of the crowds, mainly of market vendors. This compelled him to throw away the painting brushes he held to galvanize the interior of his workshop ahead of a booming business late in the day to help in putting out the flames.
So people running, shouting that there is a fire outbreak here. That's the time I left my job. I closed my shop. Then I come to witness it. So the time I arrive, I knock all doors for them to open in case if someone is sleeping inside. Then the time I knock, one of an old man, I don't know his name, but he's a neighbor to me, a good neighbor. Then he opened. He was sleeping inside with his wife. That's the time I call him to open the door. Then he opened. I enter inside. I told him that as you are seeing, things are not going well now.
He held the view that the fire service couldn't make a timely arrival as their rescue team had only got to water the bubbles.
I go at the back, I find the fire service, but they were not doing their job because we called the fire service to come long time ago, but they refused to come.
When did you call the fire service?
Yes, we called the fire service it was around 1:30. That's the time we called fire service.
So when did they arrive here?
They arrive here around 2 to 2:20, around that time.
As a result of the fire, Ibrahim Abba, a victim whose shop was turned down to ashes, lost petty cash in addition to valued items at hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Bidi konkai bagage anko sumi ko more than 400,000 sumi game do felliti dum. Dum non kan laba ni dum non ko fawe dum sumi.
Amadou Diallo, who also sell cooking pots, second-hand clothes and shoes, said the items burned in the fire worth $80,000. Similarly, JCC said she lost all her belongings, a situation for which she called on the public for help, while Jere lamented on the loss of up to $175,000 worth of items. Sadio Diallo, Chensu owner, claimed damage very close to that.
You know what they about 100,000. Sabu orek no you 60 thousand or more yatado. A baga said I don't know fokoto. I cycle jan into a push you the for sum. Now I want the dal maybe $100,000. Maximum 100,000 United.
It appears that the waves of fire incidents on very important institutions is in the rise. 2 days ago, an oil manufacturing factory along the Banjul Highway was caught in flames barely a month after the entire Ministry of Fisheries metamorphosed to ashes thanks to uncontrollable flames. For iAfrica News, I am Julden Yai.
From that report there filed in by Julden Jai, we'll head to Nigeria, where a 12-year-old Nigerian girl used traces to create beautiful artwork with a view to combat environmental pollution and better sanitation. The teenage age draws inspiration from nowhere except what appears as naturally downloaded qualifications in her. This, of course, for more on that, we will go with this report.
Daniela Soje is busy at her studio piecing trash materials together to make a work of art. The materials include a used plastic bottle, straws, bottle caps and a glue. At first, what she's trying to create doesn't make much sense. But when she's done, a beautiful piece of artwork emerges. Soja founded the studio out of her love for art and campaigned for a cleaner and safer environment. The 12-year-old says she draws inspiration from anywhere, and there's simply no limit to her creative abilities.
I can be watching TV and then just decide, okay, I'm going to make a collage of a butterfly or something. I believe that finding creative ways to dispose of trash and to make the world more beautiful is a really good way to start in improving our environmental sanitation.
Her breakthrough piece was an artwork designed with toothpicks. On her 10th birthday, Soja held her first toothpick collage exhibition, where she sold all the pieces she designed. So far, she's been able to sell about 1,000 of her works, both in Nigeria and abroad.
I'm trying to save the earth from pollution. Yes, pollution is the word. Starting with just something like as little as toothpicks, because you use a toothpick and then you just throw it on the floor. You just throw it on the floor because you think that nobody's going to see it. It's really tiny. You think that nobody's going to see it and just throw it on the floor. But like, why not just use it to make something really nice? Being alone can be very kind of like tiring and stressful, and a lot of people don't really understand what I'm trying to do with it. So they come up and they're asking me like, what am I doing with that thing or stuff like that.
Her unique works have fetched her a couple of awards, including the Cartoon Network Bubbles Award, which she won in 2018 in South Africa. Her mother still can get over that moment.
It was a milestone for me, especially when I realized that it was an award open to African children, African girls, and of over 3,000 entries that they had in our own category, she really stood out and won that category.
I feel like the more I talk about these things and teach people about these artworks and ways of, turning trash into art, I honestly hope that probably the government could hear about this, my goal, and kind of help me pursue it.
Daniela also partners with people on sanitation events like beach cleaning, where they pick up plastics. She longs for a time when she'll be able to train her peers to support her initiative.
Wow, some great stuff there by Daniela. Inspiring, right? Isn't it? Well, of course, that's all we have for you for now, viewers. But for more on this, you can also log on our website on iafrica.tv. Once again, I am Amadou Kante, and bye for now.